are you all? It's been a long time, huh? Like a really, really long time, and I apologize for that. I'm grateful for those who have stayed subscribed to my channel. I'm sure it's just because you've forgotten about me, which is fine. Gosh, I wish that I could do this all the time, but being married and having a family and being in school and working, YouTube is just not something I can commit to like I used to be able to. Mostly just because there are very few times that I'm ever alone. There's always a kid or somebody else watching TV. But today, it's just me. And so I thought we'd have just a little chat about what's been going on. And you can tell me what sort of things you would like to see from my channel. So I thought we'd bring out the old faithful. Oh yeah. It just doesn't get any better than this, really. I have in my closet literally like an entire tub of soap. No pun intended. Just soap bars that I had planned, you know, because I am mostly a soapy, sudsy channel, but I want to do other things. But I thought that this would be a nice segue back onto my channel. I'm not super worried about how well my channel succeeds. It's not my career. It would be cool if I could dedicate that much time and was that creative. No, we're not there yet. Of course, we couldn't leave out our other friend, the blue sponge, right? I mean, this really just makes all the difference. Like, if I wanted to give you a really nice head massage, really relaxing. And of course, I have a bowl of water. Water sounds alone have never particularly been my favorite, but once the water gets sudsy, then it's fine. So, let's talk about life, shall we? Is it fair to combine ASMR with vlogging? Because I don't really do vlogging, I guess. I didn't really know what else to do. Like, I have some ideas in my head. Oh, look at that. I have some ideas in my head about, like, different things I would like to do, different content I would like to make, but figuring out the setup and the time and everything else is just a little difficult. But I'm not going to forever abandon my channel. I might just have to wait a year in between videos, and I know that sucks. I will try to be more proactive regarding the state of my channel. So, 2020 has been a year for sure. I think it's been a year for just about everybody. And I started off the year looking for a new job, and I got a new job, and it was with the city, and it was just an administrative assistant position, there's like a new position that they had created for this tiny little office that literally had 0 human traffic. I spent all day scanning stuff, data entry, and filing paperwork. It was so god-awfully boring. And then like 3 weeks in, they hired a new manager, and they decided that they didn't need my position because, like I said, there was no human traffic to this building. Like, it wasn't a place where anybody came to pay a bill or anything like that. Yeah, so yeah, lost my job, freaked out. That was in February. Fortunately for me, it was really right before the pandemic, so applying for unemployment and getting my benefits right away was not an issue. But I feverishly looked for new jobs, and I finally got one, and it is it's a work from home job, so that's nice. Never had one of those. I haven't started yet though. I start on Monday. But you just like take phone calls and schedule appointments and things like that. So I have a girlfriend from high school who, due to the military, ended up back in Texas. And of course, you know, we've been Facebook friends for as long as Facebook has been around. So when she talked about the job, I was like, hey, hook me up. And she just gave me like the information, like what position she applied for and details about the company and stuff. So I knew it was legit. So I start on Monday. And the thing about it that I like, of course, number one is getting to stay home, not having to get up, put on makeup, get dressed, just sit at my computer and take phone calls and schedule appointments for people. And getting to stay at home really just is music to my ears because it's my comfort zone, you know? I don't have to worry about being somewhere on time. I'm not gonna sit there staring at the clock. I can get up and go get whatever I want. And the way that like the training is set up, you know, it's Monday through Friday, and then afterwards you have multiple schedules that you can choose from that you have to stick to for like the first 8 to 12 weeks after training. And because I'm in school, still working on my bachelor's, I'm taking 5 classes this semester because I'm a glutton for punishment. I chose a schedule that would give me Sundays and Thursdays off, so I can stay on top of my schoolwork. Fortunately, most of my classes are like, you know, they give you at least a week. One of them I know gives you 2 weeks to get assignments done, so that's been really nice. And classes just started on Monday, so no major hiccups yet. And I'm always stressed out about classes and worrying that I'm gonna miss a deadline on an assignment somewhere. And of course, the kids, you know, with everything going on in the world, they've decided that they want to stay home and do the virtual learning. So we got them set up with laptops and stuff in their bedroom. And my husband, well, I bought myself a really nice desk and this fancy chair that I'm sitting in. It's in our bedroom. I had to get rid of 4 bags of clothes to get rid of this giant clothing rack that we had in order to make room for my desk. And my husband wants me to put all of my makeup in it because I have a lot. All of my makeup is like crowded around my section of the couch. So that's kind of how life has been for us. In March, my family, my parents, donated very charitably enough money for Josh and I to do IVF, because you guys know I've been struggling to have a baby for, gosh, just over 2.5 years now. Last year was horrible because of the fertility meds. They just weren't working for me, and they were making me really unhappy, and they were really just screwing with my body. So in order to do IVF, you have to be on birth control because they want to have large groups of women at one time where they're ready to have their eggs harvested. So when the pandemic started, I was like, forget this, because all of the clinics shut down and they weren't doing IVF. So I went off the pill. 2 weeks later, got my cycle back. It was great. And then I started actually doing the temping and the ovulation test strips. I had been doing the ovulation test strips the entire time I was trying to conceive. The problem is that you can get a positive ovulation test and not actually ovulate, which is the fertility problem that I have, is that I don't always ovulate. So anyway, started doing that, and in April, you know, I got the positive test, and we did the thing, and the temping said that I ovulated, and I specifically asked my doctor for a blood test just to confirm that I had ovulated, and it did. So I was ovulating in April, and then in May I got my period when I was supposed to. So I went back to starting over, and this time I was approaching it with a lot less stress. I was just, you know, in that mindset that if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen, and I'm not gonna worry about it until the IVF clinics open up again. So I got my period in May, but it was weird. Like, it only lasted for a day, which is not normal for me. But it came, like I said, on the day it was supposed to, so I just figured, whatever. So around the time that the app said my fertile window was coming up, I started taking the ovulation tests. And if you know anything about female reproduction, you know that we have about a 5-day window, 5 to 7 day window. And so I started doing the OPKs, the ovulation prediction kits, and I kept getting really super positive tests for like a week, and I knew that something was not normal, like that's not supposed to happen. So I took a pregnancy test, and it was positive, and I barely slept that night because I wasn't sure. And so the next day I took 11 more pregnancy tests, and they were all positive. So of course, you know, called my OB, said I'm pregnant, and they sent me for blood work, and all of this took place on a Tuesday. The blood work confirmed that I was pregnant, and we were so excited. And so when you're pregnant, you have to get blood work done like literally almost every day. And so between Tuesday and Sunday, I'd probably had my blood drawn 3-4 times, close to. And by Sunday of the following Tuesday, I was in labor and delivery triage, having a miscarriage. So that was really devastating and heartbreaking. But there's always a silver lining, and now I know that I can get pregnant on my own. And my primary care doctor was like, you know, you're really still young. You don't really need to do IVF. If you don't have a baby on your own in like 2 years, then we can talk about IVF again. But really, you're only 36. We know you can get pregnant. And it would have been a missed miscarriage. I never would have even known that I was pregnant if I wasn't doing the ovulation test, because the miscarriage happened on the day that I was supposed to get my period. So if I hadn't discovered the pregnancy, for me it just would have been another period, just heavier. So we're focused on that and just doing the same thing. I'm temping and using the prediction kits, but something about having a miscarriage really throws your body off. But anyway, that was really devastating, but I'm grateful for it. You know, my husband, of course, was very supportive and very sad, and feels like he let me down, and I'm like, you didn't let me down. You did what you were supposed to do. And you know, they say that most miscarriages happen because of early chromosomal abnormalities with the fetus. So, and most women who have a miscarriage go on to have a successful pregnancy the next time around. So we're just, now that I know I can conceive, I am a lot less stressed. I know what signs to look for now, because I didn't have a single pregnancy symptom. And that's probably because, in all honesty, I was maybe 2 weeks along, maybe 3. We don't know, because we don't know exactly when I conceived. But if I had been paying attention, I would have noticed that in May my temperature didn't go back down. But I was new to the temping thing, so that should have alerted me that I was pregnant. But anyway, seeing a positive for the first time in 2.5 years was the most amazing feeling, and I am very confident that I'll get my ring baby. I have a GoFundMe, but I'm not gonna link it, because I mean, maybe I will in a couple of years, or if somebody asks for it to help with IVF costs. There's a clinic in New York, CNY Fertility, and what's great about them is that you don't have to be in New York to be a patient. They work remotely with people, so whatever tests or scans they needed from me, they would send those orders to my doctor here, and then my doctor here would perform them and send them back to the fertility clinic. And then I would have to go to New York for a week to have the eggs harvested, fertilized, and then implanted. And so they do full IVF for like, I think it's just over $4,000. It's actually $3,900, but if you're doing it remotely, then it costs a little bit more, but you know, your average fertility clinic charges approximately $30,000 for a full IVF. So finding a clinic that was going to cost me less than $5,000 just for the IVF itself, though, was like a godsend. The problem, though, is that you have to take a lot of meds, like a ridiculous amount of meds and daily injections to have your ovaries produce as many eggs as possible. And the meds are typically not covered by insurance. And so they can range anywhere from $2,000 to $6,000 on their own, just depending on what the doctor prescribes. So I had the money to do the IVF, but not the money to pay for the meds. Yeah, so I created a GoFundMe, and I passed it around on my Facebook, and you know, if anybody's willing to help, that's great. Let me know, I'll link it. But I sound like one of those people who just gets back on YouTube whenever they want money, right? I promise that's not the case. I'm fairly confident that I'll conceive again by the end of the year, and I really think so, just because I'm so less stressed out about it. Like, I'm not going out spending hundreds of dollars on tests and, you know, judging every little thing, like, am I spotting? Am I about to get my period? Is this a PMS symptom? Or I'm just letting my body do whatever it's gonna do, you know, and enjoying the ride this time, which was something my husband and I didn't do for each other in the beginning. It was all calculated and goal-oriented, and just, it's never fun when you do it that way. So, anyway, my kids are great. Israel just turned 14 and he is huge. He's so tall. And I didn't think he was gonna get very tall, but he shot up like crazy. Even Bethany is pretty tall. She just turned 11. And they're just really great kids. I love them so much. I have really good relationships with them. My husband and I are coming up on 3 years in December of being married, not back together, but being married, and it's just been great. I don't have anything to complain about, honestly. My life is good. I'm happy. The only thing missing is being able to do this all the time. It really is just a matter of there never being enough time, or enough time when it's quiet, because we have the kids every other day and I have Josh every day in an apartment. So maybe on Thursdays when I'm not working, but I'm also devoting that time to school, so I can't make any promises. But I will do my best. Absolutely do my best for you guys. I know I've said that before, haven't I? But I want to do more than just put soap on my hands. This really isn't lathering as well as I would like, because I'm sitting at my new desk and I don't want it to get ruined. But I wanted us to be able to have a conversation. I don't know if any of this will be relaxing for you, because I'm actually telling you a story, which is meant to, I guess, stimulate your brain instead of send it into relaxation. So I'm just gonna shut up.